Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes and then we'll be getting started. Paul, what's the weather in AZ today?
Sunny and 69 at the
So
moment.
it matches my background.
Yes, it does.
Just wanted to make sure. I just realized that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we're probably maybe just 10 degrees off of what it's going to be like when everybody's here for the
Oh,
TMC. It's going
that's
to be
going to be
beautiful.
nice. I'm
Yeah.
excited
That's
for
awesome.
Desert Disruption. It's like 70 days till conference.
Wow.
Early bird ends 12/22, and that's my plug.
Well done.
Thank you. I noticed I did it before we started. We got just another minute and then we'll kick off.
It was like 60 degrees yesterday here in Colorado.
Oh, I
And
bet that's nice.
it is. It's a good time of year, but we need some snow. I mean, ski resorts, everything, it's pretty dry. So hopefully the forecast is calling for quite a bit of snow in the next couple months. So I'm hoping. Anyways.
Okay. I believe in you. I believe it'll happen.
Well, my nose hairs froze when I took the kids to the bus stop today. So, uh,
Really? It's that cold in
yeah,
15, huh?
I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
See, as a Floridian, I've never experienced that. I've had like falling iguanas when it gets cold, but never the
Yeah,
nasal hair
it's
stays
a special
okay.
feeling. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just locks up. You're like, oh man.
You're like, yeah, this is why I live here. I live here for this
Yes,
reason. Yeah.
wise, wise.
All right. Well, on the note of nasal hair, we'll get started.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Melanie Thomas with TMC, and we are so pleased to have our preferred partner, Certified Credit, with us this afternoon, where they're going to be discussing the cost saving questions you should be asking your credit provider before 2026, but you probably aren't. I'm joined today with Ben Glaser, Paul Robinson, and Jeff Woltmath. And before we get started, I just have a couple of things to let everybody know, just some reminders. This webinar is being recorded and all attendees are currently muted. You will receive a copy of today's recording via email after the session. But also, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please drop them in the chat. That's what our experts are here for. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jeff. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Melanie. We are super excited to join you today and all of our fine partners and friends at the in the TMC network. We're here to talk about something that not all of us like to talk about, obviously, is credit reporting and the expense that has happened. So our goal today is really here to talk about those cost saving questions that you need to be asking your current provider. Show where your credit spend is leaking and expose whether your provider is helping you or are they increasing fees without really you knowing. So we have some I'm joined, I'm Jeff Waldemath. I'm a senior account executive with Certified Credit. I've been with Certified about 9 years. I've been doing mortgage credit for a little over 20 years, and I've pretty much seen and done it all. However, these last 3 or 4 years with the price increases that the bureaus have done have, really changed the game on all of us. So I'm also joined by Paul Blue Robinson, who's our VP of Sales. Paul brings over 25 years of mortgage credit reporting experience. Paul's done and seen it all, from rescoring to operations to sales. Uh, he's managed the supplement department for various companies. Very pleased to work with Paul. I like to joke that Paul will forget more about mortgage credit reporting than most of us will ever know. So, and finally, I'm joined by Ben Glasser, who is our director of operations. Ben brings over, oops, I guess I'm running the slides. My bad, fellas. Ben is again, he's our director of operations, and Ben brings 15 years plus. As you will see when we get into some case studies during this presentation, Ben is very passionate about what he can bring to the table for our customers and the data and analytics that he can provide. So thank you, fellas, for joining me and the fine folks at TMC. Ben, I look forward to you going to one of the TMC conferences with us so you can meet these
Dude,
people. So Paul, I think we'll just jump in here and let's start with some questions that our clients and our prospects should be asking their current credit provider. So, can you help them control VOE and credit costs through better upfront processes?
Perfect. Great. Thanks for the question, Jeff. It's almost like I read that question myself or something. There. So yeah, you know, the biggest expenses nowadays, outside appraisal are going to be your credit and your verification costs, right? So, um, with verifications come along, there's plenty of different providers that have hopped into the industry lately. The consumer initiated VOEs are really kind of the more inexpensive option to go. And so when our customers do ask us about that, we do, provide some of the some feedback on what we offer, but it's not that simple with the consumer permission. They sound great, they look inexpensive. But what we try to help our clients with is kind of pre-qualing the borrower on VOEs. For the consumer permission to work, the borrower needs to know who their payroll provider is up front. And this will help out tremendously because if you can ask them if they know their credentials to their payroll provider, then really, unless you're accepting a pay stub up front as validation, really the consumer permission is your best chance to go to lower those. And then maybe looking internally at your processes. I just mentioned pay stub. We have a customer that, their company accepts just a pay stub up front and only orders a VOE right before closing instead of ordering that initial VOE right away for an instant through those providers that are out there that are exceedingly expensive and then having to order another one at the end. And also risking the chance with one of those providers that it's returning both a current and a previous, ultimately doubling your upfront cost and knowing you're going to order another one at the end. So looking at processes and procedures as well, where, another lender, as I mentioned, the first one was taking a pay stub up front and then an instant VOE at the end. Another one that's being allowed to do an instant VOE up front, and then also just internally making the phone call to verify they're currently employed at the end, cutting out another instant fee as well. So really, just asking your credit company what do you offer, but you got to keep in mind we're out there selling products, so I wouldn't hesitate if I were you if when you're talking to your credit vendor to ask them what they're hearing other lenders are doing as well. Yeah, we got to be a whole lot more than just a credit company nowadays. If your current credit company is just somebody where an invoice is going one way and a check's coming back the other way, it's probably not the right relationship there. So that's just something we encourage our customers to ask us. Not just credit efficiencies, but VOE efficiencies as well. On the credit side, the costs there, we'll get into some bundle offerings towards the end, but the hot topic nowadays is going to be prequals there. 3 years ago, a prequal was an amazing idea because it was $4. Now that it's the current price of, an actual hard pull, you typically want to go down to a 1 or a 2 bureau. That's what we're seeing the majority of our customers move down to. If you're a Fannie and Freddie direct lender, you can still run that 1 and 2 bureau through AUS underwriting. But it also will, with trigger lead legislation coming out in March, really a lot of us just kind of got to get through these 3 months of having to get around trigger leads and pulling those soft pulls until, really depending on, what your process is and how they're going to change in March. Hopefully, maybe, your pre-qual bill is a fraction of what it was. And we can all kind of go back to pre-trigger lead days and, pull those 1 or 2 bureau hard pulls up front first to save the cost before you're adding the 3 bureau. So there's just a couple of things I'd like to throw out there for VOEs and credit there, Jeff.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul. So another question that I know is top of mind with everybody, can you help us track where the overspending is occurring?
Absolutely. Everybody should be asking their credit vendor this right now. This kind of goes back to what I touched on just a little bit ago, that your relationship with your credit company cannot be just a invoice out, check coming back in type of relationship. You want to make sure that your credit company can provide you with data, whether that's, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly trends. I know for our customers in particular, Ben oversees the operations department and will um, routinely run soft pulls, and how many of those soft pulls turned to a hard pull, how many of those soft pulls actually turned into closings, to really give the customer a full picture of how they're actually utilizing us there, and help identify some places where we might be able to cut out um, needless spending, and again, also having that real conversation moving forward. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but in March, when there really isn't the need for soft pulls, truly, if you have a sales team that's, stuck on that, they are going to order it, borrowers are still going to want it, is looking at maybe, sending out like a pay link to the borrower. If they absolutely want a soft pull up front, we're going to go ahead and have them take care of the cost of the soft pull, or put that cost back on the loan officer there. So that's absolutely, reporting is huge. And I know our customers can't live without it right now.
Exactly, exactly. Thanks for that, Paul. So I know, we talked with a lot of our existing clients, and we are big on being proactive, but can you recommend some process improvements based on what we've been hearing around the industry? Some best
Yeah, and
practices.
then definitely. And I think I just touched on the majority of
Yeah.
them there. But it's really is, again, asking your sales rep, asking whoever your contact might be at the current credit provider, what are you hearing out there? What are your internal executive teams discussing as going forward for 2026? What's the plan of the credit company? Are you going to proactively go in and run these numbers that in reports that we were just talking about, or do you wait until there's an inquiry for the customers? I know on our side we like to do a quarterly cadence out there and actually do a full review of our larger and mid-sized IMBs and lenders out there, so they can see not only what they're ordering, how they're ordering it. Maybe their Smart Select Cascade was set as a 580 for the last 5 years. Well, here we can show you how many more one bureaus you could have had instead of tri-merges if you would have just simply moved up that cascade from a 580 to a 600. It doesn't mean you can't still take a peek at that credit report, analyze it, and see if you want to add the next bureaus. But really, just trying to implementing some processes that cause a little bit of pause for the LO to take a look at it before they're hopping in and ordering things that are ultimately adding cost to the company at the end of the day.
Yep, yep. Good stuff, Paul. And that's where we bring in our man Ben here, because he looks at that data and he can do it for any of our clients. So Ben, I turn it over to you because I know this was a recent case study that we
Yeah.
performed with one of our existing clients, and this information was just huge for them to cut expense. And going into 2026, when all of our clients out there are getting hit with a 45-50% increase on credit from the bureaus and FICO, there's got to be a way around this, and it's our job is to work directly with our clients to educate them and show them where they can reduce some of that spend. So go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. As Jeff mentioned, my name is Ben Glasser. I'm the Director of Operations here at Certified. And it's not often that we allow ops people to get camera time, so I'm going to take full advantage of this. But no, I've been in this industry for 17 years now, the last 4 of which have been with Certified Credit, and I can genuinely say that time has been the most fulfilling, and it's for some of the reasons we've been talking about today, right? Um, it's really because Certified has allowed me to fully lean into my passion for empowering clients to operate at peak efficiency. That's always been a focus of mine throughout my career, but the real difference I've noticed here has been that I'm empowered to support client success no matter how it impacts our bottom line. And that's truly the difference from the previous experiences. Because we honestly truly do believe that partnership means prioritizing your success above all else. Some of the ways that we do that through relentless data analysis, as mentioned, transparent reporting, but most importantly, we turn that into actionable, meaningful insights. So we try to make it make sense and help you out ultimately. So today, I just kind of wanted to walk through, as Jeff mentioned, a quick case study that shows exactly what that looks like in practice. So this case study surrounded a pretty high volume lender that joined Certified in 2025. After their first full quarter with us, we sat down together, we reviewed every data point available. And as everybody knows, data can be messy, overwhelming, easy to misinterpret. Well, our job really is to simplify it, right? So by using advanced analytics, peer benchmarking, and key performance indicators, we help clients see, where are your costs coming from, which processes are helping you, and where there might be some optimization opportunities hiding. And in this case, one opportunity stood out almost immediately, and that surrounded their soft pull process. I think Paul brought a little bit of this up. This client had been ordering 1,200 soft pulls per month through their first 3 months with Certified. We did a deep dive for them, and we discovered that nearly 75% of those applicants had a mid score above 720, so well within their lending threshold. So we shared that information along with some other insights and explained that they appear to already have pretty strong upfront processes that may allow them to kind of pull back from that soft pull rate. They agreed. They brought us in to work with their ops team, and together we designed a more targeted approach. And the results, as you can see here, those soft pulls dropped from 1,200 a month to about 600 per month. That 50% reduction has held steady throughout Q4. Ultimately, they became more efficient, more selective, and more successful with every credit pull. So that's just one example with this same client. If we want to move on there, yep. We took a deep dive into their credit supplement behaviors. Now, listen, no one loves a good credit supplement as much as I do, but I have and will continue to dedicate my life to making sure they go away one day. And in this particular case study, it was another major opportunity for some efficiency gain and overall savings for this client. So the client was ordering supplements on 30% of all hard pulls. That's not uncommon. 20 to 35% is a typical range, but it's still on the higher end. But the key insight was this. Upon further review of those supplements, 80% of them turned out to be simple verification of mortgage requests, typically being handled by an automated system. There was no real rush in the process. They just needed an update as time passed. So once we shared some of that data and provided some possible solutions along with some other insights, they again allowed us to collaborate with ops. And through that collaboration, a few internal policies ended up being updated. And those results, as you can see here, were dramatic. They saw their supplement usage drop from 30% to 4.5%. That saved them nearly 5,000 per month. Their process became faster and cleaner, but most importantly, as we all know, it reduced the risks that surround pulling that borrower into the process. So really, that's a win for everyone involved. And when you put these efficiencies together, the bottom line, as you can see here, is their average loan cost with Certified credit dropped from around 148 in April to 125 in September, and it's continuing to hold around that area throughout Q4. That's a 15% cost reduction on every loan, saving them, I think it was between 20 and 25,000 monthly. Obviously, they're thrilled, we're thrilled, but we're not done, right? We're continuing to monitor and analyze and optimize right alongside them. And I think that's what a partnership with Certified Credit really looks like. Obviously, this is just one example of what we love doing, diving into data, identifying opportunities, and turning them into measurable results. I'd love the opportunity to explore what we can uncover for anyone on this call or anyone really. And I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to share today. And I'll give it back to you, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Dan, I told everybody how passionate you were. Just outstanding, man. It's such good info that our clients, probably most of them, don't even know that is out there for them.
Sure.
And that's our job, is to put it in front of them quarterly, biannual, whatever we need to do. So thanks so much for that, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Paul, yeah, let's go back to the questions here. We just have a couple more. Can our clients review a file with our Rescore team before they order and advise whether it's going to work or not? And what's the benefit of being able to do that for cost saving purposes?
Yeah. Awesome. And what a great, product to talk about, because these are one of those true products that, have been around forever. But, one of the big things that has stayed constant with rapid rescores is that you can't pass on the cost to the applicant. And so it is one of those big, financial burdens on our customers. So when you are allowing your LOs or processors to order rescores on the file, you want to make sure that they're going to work, and make sure that that file is going to go to closing with it. So yes, even though we provide three different credit scoring tools to our customers out there, we still really push with our customers. It doesn't matter the cost if it's a one bureau, two bureau, or if you're doing five trade lines with three bureaus and it's going to be up to $1,000 or more on the rescore. Get a second opinion. Number one, make sure that when they were running the scoring tools that they were choosing the right accounts. An example of that would be, hey, make sure that they weren't going in and paying down a revolving account that the applicant was actually just an authorized user on and can get removed just as simply without paying a dollar. Keeping more money in the pocket of the applicant as well. And then this also goes hand in hand with reporting, because we're all about reporting. Ben actually, did a case study and worked on one of our customers and identified around $7,000, I think it was, Ben.
Yeah, that's right.
A month of rescores on loans or on credit reports that never turned into a loan. And so, making sure that we're, being proactive with our customers on that, letting them know, helping them implement, maybe some restrictions. Certified credit, we're not the largest credit company out there. We never want to be. We want to be able to service every customer like they're our only one. And so, and what comes along with that is we're actually able to put restriction and notes on each individual account stating, hey, lender ABC here would like any rapid rescore over $500 to get manager approval first before ordering. Or any rescore order needs to go through a management approval process. Just putting restrictions in place on these type of products that you're not passing on the borrower and is an expense all the way for the customer. Jeff, do you mind maybe me just talking a little bit about our team, or Ben, at the rescore department as well?
Well, like I said, I've been doing this 20 plus years, and here at Certified Credit, the last 9, it's unbelievable the conduits that team has with the bureaus and their ability to get things done that I didn't know was possible, because it's an expensive endeavor, right? There's never a guarantee. But with our team, over a 95, 96, whatever it is, success rate, and being able to review that file prior to see if it even makes sense, if it's going to work, has been just huge for myself and my clients. So I can't brag on our rescore team enough, honestly.
Excellent.
So with that, Paul, I know we're getting kind of in our time, and we've got another case study that we need to review. So what bundling or package pricing do you offer? Do we offer, I should say. And this will lead us into the case study that, it was a lender that we worked with, and they were basically on a traditional pricing model that we've had out there for years, but we moved them to a performance-based model. So maybe you can speak to this case study real quick.
Yeah, and before kind of going through this case study real quick, is just showing or letting everybody know how versatile we are. What one type of we all offer upfront bundles, step up bundles, closed loan bundles, a la carte pricing, menu with step up. I mean, we're so versatile. We'll do basically anything our customers ask. But what we're also going to do, even though there's an ask, is also probably run a couple different types of options to see what really does fit for how your company is doing business. Most importantly, one bundle that works for lender A may not be the right fit for lender B out there. With this case study in particular, was a company that did want to look towards moving to a closed loan success type pricing. The one thing, when asking your credit vendor about this, and hopefully they're upfront with you, moving to this type of product, which seems to really gain some steam the last couple of years, is it's not lowering your credit invoice, but what it's going to do is actually lower what your company is losing on unclosed loans. So that's kind of one of the first things I want to put out there, because that's the first question I just really ask the customers on, you've heard about this, what do you know? And your credit company, if you're inquiring about this, needs to be upfront with you as well. Even though this customer in particular, when we moved them, we actually were able to lower what they were losing each month on credit to unclosed loans 40%, which, they were a pretty decent sized lender. So that, equated to about $25,000 a month. That typically would have, just been a loss leader for them if they would have stuck on their current pricing that they were with their previous vendor on that. So that this is just one case study. We do know every customer is different. The demographic they work with is different. It may not, what works for this lender doesn't work for you there. But the most important thing is that with these enormous increases is that you're asking your credit provider for options there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good stuff, Paul. Thank you
Yeah.
for that, my friend. And this leads into, some of the things we talk about with our clients is, what signs that show that you're working with the right partner. Mention quarterly, biannual, annual reviews it's a necessity anymore. It's just not it's the biggest expense that most of our lenders have is their credit bill. So we have the data, we have Ben and his team, we have the team to be able to, show that visibility and build you dashboards. That's what we're here to do. Especially on rescores, as we discussed, huge cost saving opportunities by using our rescore team. Know before you even order if it's necessary. Definitely, one thing I'd like to mention is the training that we provide to our clients is second to none. We make sure that any rollout is as seamless as possible, whether it's by department, by branch, whatever the case may be. We even offer Credit 101 seminars for your teams, for your realtor partners, anything that we can help with that. And basically, let us work with you to design these efficient workflows. Again, some of the more differences I should mention is 100% of our support team is onshore. We offer 12 business hours every business day of customer service support nationwide. And we actually just launched a little over a year, maybe 2 years, guys, going fast, but an online chat feature, which is huge for our clients. Again, we're all about creating efficiencies, a one-stop shop. The more you can bundle, the easier it is on your back end for efficiencies, invoicing, all of that in one place. We are a woman-owned company. We're very proud of that. Since 1983, Lucy Coretta Block is our president, founder, lover. She's still very active in our business day to day. So we're fortunate to work for Lucy. Few more of our differentiators. 75%, Ben, I know you're very proud of this. 75% of our credit supplements are completed same day. I think you can probably touch on what the vast majority are done within 1 to 2 business days, right?
Sure. That's right.
Yep. Yep. Offer a wide variety of credit rescoring tools, whether it be Credit Expert, which you now have to go direct to them, but we can facilitate that relationship. We actually have Score Navigator, and we also recently launched the FICO simulator, which a lot of our clients are liking, and that I think is only going to get better and better. So the full spectrum of that stuff. I know we're running out of time. Melanie, you put your beautiful face back on camera to alert me. The big thing, we definitely want to highlight the resources. Allie is our marketing director, and she just does a wonderful job. So if you guys have never taken the time to go to our website and look up the resources that we have available for whether you're a client of ours or not, we encourage you, go in there. It's going to help you some cost saving strategies, just some general resources to help you better prepare for 2026. So I don't know if we have any questions. Definitely jot down that website. I think, Melanie, you're going to send out to all the attendees. You're going to send the presentation out afterwards. But gosh, thank you guys so much. We're very proud to be a part of the TMC network. And Melanie, I don't know, I can't really see the chat right now. Were there any questions popped in there?
Yeah, so there was one, and it was more statement and question. Susan Adams there. Thank you for putting it out there. And because I'm not very good at Zoom, I actually replied back to all the panelists instead of you earlier. So wanted to get to you there. So Susan had just mentioned that her sales team likes all three bureaus when doing pre-approvals to ensure they're quoting the correct rate. And we hear that a lot, Susan. What I'd recommend doing though is getting with your credit company and just ask them to send you a score report. Their system should be able to download, your last 30, 60 days of the score reports on your pre-qual, so you can kind of take a look at that average. I know Ben does that for our customers as well, and that might help you, to sell moving to a two bureau, one bureau if there isn't that much variance in those models. Which we all know that a TransUnion can come back at 550 and for some reason Experian at 620, and that always kind of scares the sales team and they want to order that three bureaus. But honestly, in the larger scheme of things, at the end of the day, the bureaus are really only a few points difference from each other with using a larger data set.
Awesome.
And that was really the only question that you guys had. So I think that was
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for taking the time with us today. We're excited. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday Christmas season, and reach out to us. Use that email address right there. Let us know how we can help. So thank you so much, Melanie.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.